Well, Conor, you've been with us a couple of weeks already, but it's a bit kind of belated welcome to Matlock Town. Just tell us a little bit about how this move came about, first of all.
So obviously, end of last season didn't go well. Whole of last season didn't go great for me at Derby. Had sort of thought about the transition from playing full time to part time and getting a coaching role, and obviously looking at the next step. So probably come a little bit earlier than I wanted it to, if I'm honest. But I had some offers to stay full time, but it just didn't make loads of sense from a family perspective. Been lucky enough to live with my family for the last sort of 10, 11 years. The kids are settled around here. My wife's settled, and obviously I'm settled as well. So we like it around here. Didn't really want to be sort of 3 or 4 hours away in League Two or the National League. So started to explore the part-time option towards the end of the season. Had spoken to the previous manager here, to be fair. He was on one of my coaching badges. So had sort of fleshed out the idea, and then, like I say, if I'm honest, the offers just weren't there. And I like to be in control of sort of my own destiny rather than going and trialing at places. And so yeah, that's how it came about. To be fair, I'm really happy to be here. I played here obviously quite a lot from the 21s last year, so I'm only half an hour from here. So it all worked out pretty well, I think.
From a playing perspective, obviously you've had the time with injury. Do you feel, you said you look fresh again, do you feel raring to go now?
Yeah, I think the frustrating part is, I think it's one of those things as a footballer, is that I wasn't injured for 12 months last year. That's not how it happened. Listen, it'd be easy for me to go on Twitter and go back at fans and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's probably a waste of everyone's time, really. But I trained from pretty much pre-season, missed a little bit at the start, trained up until November. I actually got injured here, funnily enough, so I'll have to do something when November comes around, because it was a nice boggy pitch. So it was a small injury, but it was just the timing of it. It was right at the end of November. And then I missed most of January with that as well. And at that point, clubs were saying, like, well, we don't really want to take you on loan because you've spent the last couple of weeks injured or months injured or whatever. So, and then I trained from basically the end of January all the way up until the end of the season. So, and at that point, we thought I was leaving in January, so I was excluded from the 25 at Derby. So there's no way I could play, basically. It was the simple fact of the matter. So ended up playing maybe 5 or 6 under-21s games, but like, if like clubs are looking and they're seeing 0 appearances, so I can't blame them, really. So yeah, it's been frustrating, but at the same time, like you say, I feel fresh. I feel like I'm getting back to fitness. I'm still a little way off, I think, but definitely getting there and starting to feel better.
And then from a coaching perspective, is that something you've always wanted to do, or is it something that's become more of a sort of option more recently, or has it sort of panned out?
Yeah, I think like the way I came into the game, I've always been like relatively like sort of keenly aware that it's not going to last forever. So I've done as much as I can really to prepare myself. I did a sports science degree. I've done a few other qualifications, just as broad as possible, to be honest, because I wasn't quite sure where it was going to take me. Done quite a lot of one-to-one coaching in the off-season, things like that. I really enjoy getting in around strikers, and that's the fun part of football, right? Coaching centre halves isn't me. But yeah, I feel like that's the way I'm sort of leaning, but at the same time, I'm doing other stuff that might take me into some different sort of realms of football as well. So yeah, at the moment, I'm sort of set on coaching, but I see it as a sort of natural progression into maybe some slightly different things.
And a degree of full circle about it, because obviously you started your career at this kind of level as well, didn't you? So you're not alien to this environment, I guess, and I guess that kind of helps you. Does it help you settle a bit more into it?
Yeah, massively. I had so many people say, like, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to be blown away by the standard. You're going to be this, you're going to be that. And like you say, I spent like 3 or 4 years at step 5, so a league below. So it was a long time ago, obviously. And there's things like that are different still. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the last few weeks. It's definitely weird not training every day, but the plan is, obviously, the fitter I get, I'm just going to try and do as much as I can during the week. And if I do get into a club and do some coaching, then maybe join in or do my own fitness stuff. So the aim is to bring sort of full-time standards here for myself. And obviously, if that rubs off on anyone else, then great. But this club is on the up. The manager wants double promotion. The owner wants double promotion. Obviously, I wouldn't have signed here unless the thing that you notice, especially towards the end of your career, is all the good seasons when I look back, I got promoted. So like that's what I want to be involved in. I could have gone to maybe another club that was a bit more local to me and just sort of potted around for a couple of years, but I want to be involved in stuff that in places that are looking to get to the next level, really.
kind of took the words out of my mouth a little bit, because looking at the bigger picture, obviously there is a lot of expectation here this year, given what's happened in the last year or two and players have brought in. Probably doesn't faze you too much, does it? Is that where your sort of experience might help some of the players who've not been in that situation as much, or certainly the younger players, and you want to impart some of that wisdom into situations like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of something I've never really been aware of. Really, it's sort of been a little bit of a bubble with football, and it's just your own thing. And it's only been the last sort of 18 months to 2 years that I've sort of tried to help anyone, if you know what I mean, because it's always felt like everyone's got their own things going on. But yeah, definitely, I think the manager will probably be looking at me in the run-in, in the tough games, I'm sort of more of I try to lead by example rather than a big shouter and screamer, to be honest. But I think if the game's really tough and I can get on the ball and try and make something happen, then I think that would be the sort of leadership that, and then like little chats here and there. And if anybody wants any advice, obviously I'm open to that. But at the same time, I wouldn't impose it on anybody. So
Great stuff. Enjoy it. Thanks very much.
Good, guys.
Cheers.